Welcome everyone, it's Sarango here bringing you the program that's more hype than a Falcon Stomp Knee combo. It's Smash Talk. Today, we have a few special guests on the show, starting with Goliath from Canada Cup. Next, we have Samuel from Unplugged Repairs remedying your controller catastrophes. Then we're going all the way across the continent to chat with the Atlantic scene about their qualifier. But frame one is the news. The Wi-Fi scene has been bumping lately, with lots of tournaments pulling in hundreds of participants. Since the last episode, we've had Get On My Line Melee and Ultimate, Smash the Router 3 and Juicebox 3, but we've also watched the revival of Canada Cup. Let's see some of the most exciting moments from these past week's tournaments. It's been an amazing opportunity watching the online scene flourish, but on top of that, Canada Cup has been making waves in the community. The organization settled onto the broad shoulders of Goliath, and we had the opportunity to talk with the man that's larger than life. Talking about the big man in esports, we have Goliath on the line here. He is the Chief Executive Officer of Canada Cup Gaming. What was the main reason for you to be able to take over the full responsibility of Canada Cup?
So there was this space available, and I just kind of stepped up to the task. And so far, I've been absolutely loving it.
Awesome, and it's great to have you here. Now, the big question is, how do you plan on moving forward when it comes to Canada Cup Gaming and growing yourself?
So we hosted our first online tournament, which was the Warzone tournament. But as anybody could see, well, obviously we don't have as much reach in the FPS community. So I decided to try again, because I don't just quit when I fail, and host the Smash Ultimate Minor. And we only expected to have, what, like 80-something contestants in it, because I originally thought that a $200 prize for a free tournament was very little, and I was like kind of scared that we wouldn't get any participation. But then in the last 24 hours, not even, in the last like 2 hours before the tournament started, we jumped from like 100 people signed up to having to cap it at 256 because we are just getting so many people just swarming in, coming in and wanting to play. It's gotten to the point now where it's like I come into work and I have a certain amount of allocated hours specifically to Canada Cup Gaming to be able to produce content, to think of new ideas of how to bring it forward, hosting new tournaments, this, and that. And I mean, it's nothing but a dream come true for anybody that's been hustling as much as I have.
It's amazing the impact that video games had on our lives, and our parents didn't understand. But little did we know that we come to a point where you can have a muffin and a melee. You want to tell us a little bit about that cafe?
Super Smash Cafe, that's my spot. That's like a new venue that opened up just last year, and like their entire context is of being able to play video games and just, you know, have a coffee, have a muffin, just being able to realistically just hang out with your friends or alone and come hang out with the staff, because they're always there willing to play video games with you if you have nobody else to play with. And I think those places need to be supported as much as humanly possible to be able to sustain and bring video games into the mainstream that is our lives.
Thank you so much for coming through and doing this interview, and I cannot wait for the next event.
I mean, thanks a lot for having me. We're going to be announcing the next event very soon. So if there's any sponsors that are interested in sponsoring any of these tournaments, we're open. Send me a DM on any of the platforms. We're ready to get to work with you.
It means a lot, Goliath. Stay big, stay strong, and just know that we're behind you.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Tournament organizing is one way to help the community. But when it comes to helping the environment, making people's dream controllers come to life, and playing superhero to broken buttons, no one does it better than Samuel McLeod from Unplugged Repairs. Samuel McLeod, aka Samuel, on the line, the proud owner and repairer of controllers from Unplugged Repairs. What drives you to be a young entrepreneur working in the controller business?
So personally, I've always been kind of a cheapskate whenever I come to buying stuff. So instead of going out to somebody and making them do repairs on my controllers or modifications, I just decided, you know what, I'll do it myself.
Which is the reason why we do most of the things that we do. Now, have you thought about the carbon emissions that you actually, because your carbon footprint gets reduced by repairing your controllers? Is that something that really comes into your decision making?
Yeah, so my entire life, really, I've been surrounded by people who know electronics well, and we don't really like to throw away our electronics. We like to fix them, save them, preserve them as much as we can, so we don't have to keep buying and spending more money or throwing stuff away, right? So definitely having lower pollution, lower carbon footprint was one of the biggest deciding factors in this as well. Uh, and it just feels really nice to be able to help out the planet and as well just help out other people in our community.
Do you have a favorite project that you've worked on so far?
I have a couple of them. The first one, the top player Dark Wizzy, when he came to play with Hart, his controller just stopped working for some reason. So some links got to me, and he just came to my house, fixed up his controller, and he left. That was nice to work on his custom controller. It was really interesting to see what's happened to it.
If there was one person that you could work on their controller for, who would it be?
I, you know, there's nobody in particular that I'd really like to work on their controller for. It's just people that I'm friends with. Of course, I'll always love working on their controllers, trying to fix it. And if there's some top players out there that need me to fix some internals on their controllers, I'll happily do it.
Well, this has been amazing. Thank you so much, Samuel. And we're about to be unplugged, so I will talk with you hopefully at the next event.
Thank you so much.
With different controllers, keyboards, and mice, gamers are on a never-ending journey to find the right pieces to optimize their gamer experience. We asked you to respond on the Mountainside Games Twitter with your gamer gear. Let's see what you guys are rocking.
Hey yo, gaming setup check though?
Gamer culture is something that's universal, saluting the sun as it sets in the Pacific and when it rises in the Atlantic. We've managed to wrangle up a local tournament organizer from across the continent. Coltrane, with the opportunity to hold tournaments without the need of a venue, are more TOs stepping up?
Yeah, so we've got right now, I think, 3 or 4 regular weekly Wi-Fi tournaments. So there's lots of opportunity for people in Atlantic Canada to play in a Wi-Fi tournament with locals close to them.
Being that the Atlantic is such a large region, what sort of large tournaments do you guys have?
So our big one is Kings of Halley. It's hosted in Halifax, Nova Scotia. That's the largest tournament in Atlantic Canada, and it's one of the largest tournaments in Canada in general. So in 2019, we had 287 attendees. Our Smash Ultimate bracket with 208 attendees was one of the largest in the country. We're really looking forward to this year. We were on track to have about 400 attendees for 2020, but unfortunately we had to cancel because of COVID-19. So, but man, 2021, Return of the King is going to be a good time.
Yeah, Return of the King of Halifax, which is absolutely amazing. What is the difference between rivalries between the Atlantic cities of themselves and the Atlantic versus the rest of Canada? Is there any good storylines or?
So we always feel like we're like the little brother who gets left out and who doesn't get noticed, and that's why I push really hard at all of our events to like really grind out the marketing and grind the attendance out, like get get people out and get people involved in the scene. Grow. I want to grow until you can't. Like you would have to put your head in the sand in order to not notice us anymore. I just want to scream at everybody and say, like, this is us, like, we exist.
As you guys know, this is about the community, to be able to help the community, and I'm very, very excited to have you here today, Cole. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to see what you guys have for Kings of Halifax.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Have a good one.
With the focus on the East Coast, we have a special announcement from the man who was on the last episode, Nitro from Even Matchup Gaming.
Well, for our Atlantic Canada friends, on August 1st, your qualifier will take place, so register for that as soon as possible. For our Canada Central friends in Ontario and Quebec, your qualifier will be on August 8th, and you can, if you missed out, you can join the Last Chance qualifier on August 14th and 15th. Then you can tune in to watch the top 16 playoff on August 16th.
If you're unable to participate in those regional qualifiers, then make sure you check out some of the best and biggest tournaments going on in North America. We start in Canada with Super Smash Galaxy August 1st and 2nd, a collaboration event from Ontario offering a $500 pot. Moving to the States, check out The Box, Lunchbox number 2, on July 29th, held by Team Liquid's Hungry Box. And lastly, the Lockhart Series August 9th with a staggering $1,000 prize pool. If you think that there's an event that should be shared to the community, please hit us up on our Twitter. Hailed from the West Coast, but known worldwide, we have one man with a huge brain that plays with a massive amount of heart. You already know, it's Big D. Dawson, how long have you been playing in tournaments?
I've been playing since 2011, so basically 9.5 years or so. A long time.
Now, talking about competitive play, there's young boys and girls looking to get into tournaments and participating in these scenes. What would you say to those people that are just diving into the competitive scene?
Well, I think the biggest barrier for actually entering a tournament is you always second guess yourself, like, oh, maybe I'll join when I'm good enough. But really, you don't need to be good enough for... You might even surprise yourself when you go to your first tournament. So I would say, don't second guess yourself. If you're curious, just go.
How has going to tournaments and participating in the community changed your life, do you think?
Oh, it's changed my life in a lot of ways. For one, it's something that it's given me a new way to spend my time. I've known people that I wouldn't have otherwise known. I've traveled to places I wouldn't have otherwise gone. I've also got to know a lot about competition, which when you do a lot of competition, you find out a lot about yourself, because competition is very honest, let me tell you.
And there's nothing more honest, in my opinion, than taking care of yourself. And that begs the question, what are your self-care routines? And would you attribute any of them to the success that you find in your tournament settings?
I would probably say it doesn't help or improve how I play, but it does help my head. When you get as invested into competition as I am, or you do it a lot, you might start to tie your self-worth to how you do and your identity and how you're looked at in the scene. So now that I have these other things that are kind of helping my head in the way, I feel good, something to outside the tournament to keep my spirits up, but I tie a lot less of my self-worth to how I do in the game, and that's really helped me.
Now, a little off topic, but you recently qualified for a tournament, like a Canada-wide regional tournament, the NXNE Game Land fueled by Jolly Rancher Misfit Gummies.
What do you? A whole bunch of Jolly Ranchers for that.
Yeah, and what are you excited to be able to participate in the finals?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be fun competing against the East Coast. There's definitely a little bit things we're gonna have to adjust to be able to beat them, but that should be a good one if I get one over on them.
Well, Dawson, thank you so much for being able to come with us on this interview. It's great to see you living your best life and showcasing what it should be to be able to be a top player. You have good habits, you're very respectful, and overall, just the man with the biggest heart that I've ever known. So I appreciate
that, Martin. Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
For now, that's it, guys. Like a Jigglypuff looking for a comeback, I need a rest. Look out for us next time, and a big shout out to everyone who helped make this second episode come to life. make sure you smash that like button, leave a comment, and show this to all your friends so we can keep making this awesome content. Good luck, have fun, and we'll catch you next time.